She's at a place in her life where peace is a priority and negativity cannot exist. She's no longer matching energy. She's simply removing herself from any situation that doesn't vibrate her soul. So if you start moving funny, she's moving on.
What's up, my Fina love? Sisters Fina D coming to you all from Fina Team News.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment.
Welcome.
Thank you.
The living legend, Miss USA.
Oh.
She puts the celebrity in Bravo celebrity.
Oh, yes.
Give it up for Kenya, the icon, more.
What's gone with the wind? Fabulous. She's a force all her own. You can't take that away from her. That's one thing about me. I am never going to not give you your flowers.
Do you agree with her when she says she built the house?
She built a house, but it got foreclosed on. I mean... Why would she say that?
Because they only see a chopped down version of it.
And what the editors choose to show. Allegedly.
As we're seeing this season, allegedly. Hey, flashbacks.
My rebuttals are always so lethal that they forget about what the other person did to me. But when you forgot, this person literally just tried to spit on me, or this person just tried to kill me, or this person just said the most horrible things to me. All you can see is the strategic or the way that I respond. And it's not fair because they just forget about what people have done to me. And it's not nice.
If you missed part 1 of my review of the Carlos King and Kenya Moore interview, please click the very first link in the description below.
I don't know how to say it, but I'm going to try to do it the best I know. Her mother was going to give her away. She was going to give her to...
For adoption?
Out for adoption.
Okay.
And it was...
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know how to say it.
I think you're saying it quite well.
Right.
I didn't want her to be adopted. But her mother was going to give her away. So I says, don't give her away, give her to me.
Wow. Did she give her to you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I raised her.
You did? That's
Yes.
your baby.
That's my baby.
Wow, that is so awesome.
That's why.
baby.
Wow.
That's my baby.
Yeah.
Proud of her, aren't you?
Yes, I'm proud of it. And I raised her.
That's beautiful. And you know it.
Yeah, I know it.
I think she's proud of you too.
Yes, she is.
I think she loves me
156.
too.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I raised her all the way.
You did.
Yes, ma'am.
That is something else. Wow. No wonder you can tell her how to make pie and greens.
No, but
She's
sure,
giving her the recipes.
Right.
I'm just saying, I'm so proud.
Uh-huh.
And I raised her.
Uh-huh.
And see, I talked to her. And I didn't, and that's my baby.
All right. And bet nobody mess with her either, right? All right.
I don't know how to say.
My goodness, that's my baby. Does it to me every single time. This is me right here, crying and also saying glory for having an amazing grandmother that stepped up and stepped in at 3 days old to be there for Kenya. So I am praying for Kenya's strength as she still deals with the hurt and the pain from her mother. However, I pray that in as much as I've heard her in countless of interviews, spending time and time in those interviews, giving all of the praises and thanks to her grandmother. And I know that she's appreciative and she's grateful and all of that. What I'm noticing on social media in the reaction to Kenya revealing more things from that Carlos King interview and what her mother said to her and things like that and the hurt and the pain, you have the side that are saying, we are sorry that this happened to you. We are sorry that your own mother did this to you. But you had a grandmother.
But I had a praying grandmother
that stepped up and that prevented you from ending up in foster care and going from families to families. You work with a person who been through foster care and you've heard the horrible stories about thinking you are somewhere and now you're going to relax and you have a family and going from home to home. And she went through 5 foster care homes. That's a Malo Hemti I'm talking about. Okay, so you've heard those stories and you had a grandmother that stepped up and provided you a stable environment that protected you, that prevented you from going through some of the trauma that other kids go through. A loving mother and grandmother because she played both roles. And look at who you are today. Look at how amazing your life is today. And because of that, they want her to spend more time in her interviews highlighting her grandmother, focusing on the positive, focusing on that it could have been worse. But I had a grandmother who stepped up and played both roles. They are upset that Kenya continues to give her evil mother shine in these interviews by spending all this time repeating and talking about the things that she did to her and crying about it and all of that. They want Kenya to no longer give that woman any more shine. Focus on the woman who actually stepped up for you and was there for you. And stop allowing the woman who have hurt you so much to think she wants something or she have this hold and control over your life that even through everything you are still crying in interviews over her. I hear it, I see it, but you cannot tell someone how to heal, what to do, and to stop expressing those raw emotions and real feelings. That's how she's feeling. Talking about it is a part of Kenya's healing process. So telling her to shut that part out, telling her to pretend like it doesn't hurt, telling her to pretend like it doesn't exist and not talking about it doesn't help the healing process. So, but I do see the other side of this is what she wants. She wants to know that she was able to crush you, that she was able to hurt you. And even at this age, through all of your success and everything you have accomplished, you are still crying about it in interviews. So shut it down. And then also leave me comments like, and stop calling her mom. But as a Kenya Moore supporter, I support how raw Kenya is. I support how honest she is. Because Kenya could go in these interviews and be like, well, what about her? She wasn't there. My grandmother stepped up. She played both roles. I had an amazing life, a wonderful childhood. God bless my grandmother. Next. And that's it. And I think that's what people want because they just feel like the person who treated Kenya so poorly doesn't deserve not even 5 seconds of a mention from Kenya after everything she did. But my response is, if this is a part of Kenya's healing process and talking about it is going to help her heal, then give Kenya grace and let her process and heal the way that she wants to. Because she can absolutely shut it down and pretend like she's no longer hurt, she's moved on, and everything is all good. But then that would be a lie. That won't be the real and authentic and transparent Kenya. So just give Kenya grace, and hopefully one day she would get to the point where talking about it will get easier. But we don't get to tell this woman how to handle her healing process. Whatever that works for her, works for her. And I'm praying for Kenya. So that part of the interview was heartbreaking, but I'm glad that Kenya is still healing, and she's an amazing mother. So Kenya continue to be an amazing mother. I don't even think that people who are telling Kenya to no longer talk about her mother are coming from a bad place. They are basically like, she dismissed you, so dismiss her too. If they ask you about her, be like, who? The same way how she never acknowledged you, don't acknowledge her. Acknowledge your grandmother and then move on. But then that won't be real. That won't be authentic. That won't be Kenya, because the real Kenya is still hurt, and talking about it is a part of a healing process, and we need to show her grace in that. And it also speaks volume that through it all, she still refers to her as my mother. Now, let's quickly address what Kenya said about people being able to say whatever to her, and then when she retaliates, people only focus on what she did. For example, people were like, Kenya, when Milo came at you about your mother's situation, why didn't you hit her back with being in foster care and all of that? The problem is, for us, we would have understood. Milo came for her, she fired back, that's it. But no, production would have flipped it and make it look like, oh my God, Kenya is talking about foster care and innocent kids. But that wouldn't have been the case. Milo came for her and she fired back, and that's it. But for Kenya, people always flip things to make it her fault and then completely ignore that this person just went to a very low place bringing up my mother. So Kenya chose to take the high road. People know what Milo went through. I'm not going to go below the belt and hit her with that. Even Milo knows that what she just said is silly to me, because how can you open your mouth and say that when you yourself have had mommy issues and ups and downs with your mother as well? So in that moment, she had to think quick and say, you know what, just insult her with something else, but don't go there. Let her hold that. Or when Phaedra Park said certain things at the reunion about how Kenya was going to have a child, like she's God. When she was sitting there next to a convicted felon, there were so many things Kenya could have hit her back with, but then her innocent children would have caught some strays because that is still their father, regardless of the choices that he made. And so Kenya was like, I'm just going to pay her dust, let her have that one. In that moment, people consider that low and disgusting moment from a black woman coming for another black woman like that in such disgusting ways. It's celebrated. But had that been Kenya, it would have been, oh my God, she's so terrible. Or had Kenya flipped it on her and then mentioned her kids, because she did talk about how Kenya was going to have children with a certain person. So had Kenya flipped it around and say, but your kids have to, and then insulted their father, it would have been, oh my gosh, kids are off limits. You didn't have to go there. That's Kenya's point. When she responds, people then forget how disgusting and low the other person was or is. And that's why sometimes she takes the high road, because people in production always treated her that way. Still happening today. Someone on the show said that Kenya falling is karma. Okay? Miserable Milo goes and kick Kenya's door. Bang on her door. Other people also hit the door and all of that. But once Kenya opened the door and expressed that her daughter was in there, the other women had enough sense to walk away. Miserable Milo kept knocking and kept being disruptive, even though Brooklyn was sleeping and scared. Okay? Production did absolutely nothing. Production actually rewarded Milo by creating a montage and including that moment in the montage when Kenya opened her door to prove that Kenya is a mean girl, to validate someone claiming that her falling and hurting herself is karma. How is including that clip of someone banging on her door while her child is in there proving anything about her being a mean girl? That's how dumb production is this season. Exactly. But my point is, had Kenya kicked in or bang on Sonia's door while her child was in there, or did the same to Candy or anybody else on that show with young children, it would have been the complete opposite. So it's still happening to this day. And let's go back real quick. Speaking of Phaedra, Kenya mentioned this part during the interview that was very disturbing. Before lying on Candy, I started calling Phaedra Parks a monster and just different things because of the way how she was lying and treating Kenya. And I could see through her lies, and I knew that she was lying. Of course, later on, I was vindicated. But to know that Kenya trusted her and opened up to her about, you know what, my mother might have mental health issues, I'm not sure. And then for Phaedra to turn around and throw that back in Kenya's face, just disgusting. I'm just glad that, you know, Kenya turned it around, and she is such an amazing mother to Brooklyn, and it is so beautiful to watch. So Kenya, you're lifted in my prayers. I pray for healing, and I'm wishing all of you well, and take care.
My loves, thank you all for your love and support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also turn on notifications so when I do post, you're aware that I posted. And I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.